Hello everyone and welcome back to one last Mario theme impressions video to close off the month of March, which is kind of like the month of Mario, I guess, thanks to the Marchio, date, if you will. But this time I went with a childhood favorite of mine with Super Mario Kart for the SNES, which I played through the Nintendo Switch online service. Now, Super Mario Kart was released originally in 1992, and it's a game I owned back in the day when I had my Super Nintendo as a kid, and I remember loving the fact that the Mario series and characters were presented in something other than a platforming game. So to me that was really cool. Back in the day, just seeing Mario doing something else other than a platforming game. I thought it was great. And to top things off, Nintendo chose a very fun genre with racing in this case. And they really went all out with the creativity, creating a card game that allowed you to see your favorite Mario Universe character, since it's not your typical enclosed vehicle that you use in a racing game, for example like a rally car, which is all fully enclosed. Being a kart, like a kart, you're able to see all the characters, and I think that added charm to it. But I think most importantly was the use of items, which made the overall racing gameplay incredibly fun and unique at the time. It's crazy how Super Mario Kart paved the way for an entire series that nowadays is a mainstay and one of the highest selling series for Nintendo, to be honest. It feels like everyone is always excited for when a new Mario Kart game is about to come out or is announced. I know as of late, I think the Mario Kart 8 formula is working wonders for Nintendo, and they decided to just expand on that. But it's always entertaining seeing more more content, more racers coming out, and it's always a good thing. Now, continuing with my background for this game, I played the heck out of it back in the day, along with my older brother. So with that being said, as you can see from my gameplay footage that I'm sharing here, I lost my touch and played this entirely with little to no drifting, which makes things a whole lot harder. You can get by up until 100cc, which is the difficulty I played in this game, which is, it's the equivalent to normal difficulty, if you will. But the game gets hard really fast, moreover towards the last few cups, where you really have every trick. You have to use every trick under your sleeve pretty much to come out on top. Let me just say that for the special cup, which is the last one, where we have the infamous Rainbow Road, I made use of a certain save state feature that the Switch Online service offers in order for me to win that cup. But yeah, drifting in Super Mario Kart is much harder than any other game in the series, in my opinion. And I was not into relearning that particular gameplay mechanic for my time with Super Mario Kart in this month. The best way to do that is just to play time trial, pick a character that you're comfortable with. Toad and Koopa are good because they handle pretty well. But that's the best place to practice the drifting mechanic in this game, which you do by tapping the jump button, and then just in the air you kind of like redirect your character, but it's not as straightforward as the modern games, where it's much easier to drift. So yeah, I beat all 4 cups in 100cc, which is the normal difficulty, I guess. And as always, I had a blast. Graphically, the game looks great. I love the colorful nature of the game and how the tracks stay true to the themes in the Mario universe. You have your snow levels, your sand levels, your typically green and lush normal levels. So a lot of variety in terms of the graphics and the tracks in the game. The game also makes use of the infamous SNES Mode 7 graphic feature to bring an almost like 3D feel to it, or to the game, thanks to the rotation of the levels as you're turning your kart. Back in the day, this was mind-blowing, and I loved that feature in other games like Pilot Wings, for example, and F-Zero. One cool quirk about the user interface of Super Mario Kart is that the screen was split horizontally, creating an early version of widescreen mode, if you will. At first, I remember being confused and just not liking the split screen as a kid. and I was confused as to why they forced a split screen. But I got to enjoy the use of the bottom half to check your positioning, or the positioning of your opponents in the track, and to use it as a rear view mirror. Quite frankly, there's not a whole lot of need to have a full screen when you think about it, since a lot of the real estate will be wasted. So yeah, the split screen was a really good choice by Nintendo. Sound-wise, the game has a lot of memorable soundtrack pieces and sound effects that add more to the game, but gameplay-wise, it's where it's a bit rough going back to this game. If I have to be honest, I already talked a little bit about how different this game is in terms of drifting versus other games. But other interesting gameplay quirks that I want to mention are the fact that your opponents in this game cannot use items from the question mark blocks that are found throughout the tracks, but rather they have their own weapon for the entirety of the game, which it's something very different versus the modern games. So for example, Donkey Kong Jr. can only use bananas. Mario and Luigi can only use a superstar power. Yoshi and Koopa can only use eggs, etc. However, this may sound like it's something to your advantage, but the AI in this game, they make really, really good use, and they have unlimited use of these power-ups or items. So they use it all the time, especially if you're in first, and they're trailing behind you. They're gonna use everything they can to stop you. Of course, this is something that changed in newer games, but I thought it was interesting to just quickly mention it. And speaking of your opponents, one thing that I hate about the AI of this particular game is the insane rubber banding of your rival. Depending on what character you choose, a set rival will always be pestering you and be your biggest threat in every race. For example, if you use Toad, I believe your rival is Princess Peach, so she will always be following you or be in second place. If you're in first place, she will be always in second place. But one thing that I absolutely adored doing as a kid, and I still find myself doing it as an adult, it's attacking the rivals actually. Like in the final lap, for example, just saving like a red shell and purposely letting them pass you close to the end of the race, and then shooting the red shell and then forcing them to finish a couple of positions down, and therefore forcing the game to switch rivals to the next best position AI player in the standings. So it's kind of cool how the AI just gets really frustrated and pissed off, and they're always looking to basically screw you over with the rival that's chasing you. The AI can be brutal and pull off some very dirty tricks to make up for being hit with an item or sometimes obstacles. It's really infuriating, especially when they start using some sort of like God mode and magically avoid your projectiles and drive with insane speeds to catch up with you. The only way to truly mitigate this is to have a good strategy of when to use your items. Sometimes it's best to use your items if you have a good one at your disposal. Knowing the tracks and their shortcuts. You just have to be aware of where the shortcuts are, and of course learning the drifting technique, because this is your only ticket to winning in the harder 100cc cups, and a must use for the 100cc races, which can be brutally hard if you don't know the tracks or the drifting techniques. I think overall Super Mario Kart remains a very nostalgic game for me, and it's easily one of my favorite SNES games based on how much I played this game and how much I appreciated playing as Mario in a game that was not just a platformer. I think the modern Mario Kart games are easier to get into and have obvious quality of life improvements that are much appreciated. But I will always cherish my time playing Super Mario Kart, which brings a plethora of nostalgia and memories from the past, and a little bit related to my YouTube channel as well, because my first video ever was actually a Super Mario Kart gameplay footage, which I uploaded back in, I forgot, I think it was like 2006 or 2007 maybe. Back in the early days of YouTube. So yeah, that's another nostalgic memory that I have about this game. But yeah, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Take it easy.